Well, hello everyone, this is Dr. David, and I'm here with Dr. Ramirez, Dr. Robert Ramirez. And as you guys know, folks, our focus with these webinars and this great resource called buildingstrengthwebinars.com is to provide you with the best and the most useful information about health, specifically how your body works, how your mind works, how your spirit works. And in this case, the health of the spine. That's why we have a chiropractor. The health of the spine is so important, and many of us, especially in the traditional medical field, do not really understand its importance and how it relates to the health of the body. And so, again, I am so grateful that Dr. Ramirez would take our time out to discuss this. And Doc, tell us, first of all, what is an upper cervical chiropractor?
An upper cervical chiropractor focuses exclusively in the upper cervical region or the upper neck region of the spine. There's a big difference in how the bones in the upper neck are designed compared to the rest of the spine. This is a model taken right out of the spine. This would be the skull, the first bone, and the second bone in the spine. So upper cervical doctors specifically work and address issues with the upper cervical region and how that impacts the entire spinal column and the entire nervous system. Differences in upper cervical chiropractic is that there is no snapping or cracking with the type of adjustments. The adjustments are very gentle, very safe, extremely effective. And what most upper cervical doctors do is they'll take 3 different x-rays from the spine, one from the side, one from the front, and one from the top of the head, and they'll use mathematics and physics to calculate a very specific direction on how that top bone can become misaligned in relationship to the other 2. Then they'll use a very specific adjustment to that upper cervical region to restore the proper position to increase nerve flow from the brain to the body.
Interesting. So basically you're saying that just by touching on small aspects on that little area, you can adjust and provide benefit for the rest of the body?
Correct. And the reason this is because the nerves in the upper body actually control and regulate postural spinal muscles throughout the rest of the spine. One of the jobs that the nerves in the upper neck do is it controls and regulates the postural muscles that go from bone to bone and attach to the pelvis. So if there is an irritation in the upper cervical region, it'll then begin to cause the muscles to act abnormally from side to side. And what that looks like is laying down, it'll look like one hip is higher than the other, or one leg is shorter than the other. Standing up, it'll look like one hip is higher than the other.
Huh.
The body will then be thrown off its center of gravity and try to respond to it by uprighting itself, and that'll then begin to create twists and bends throughout the rest of the spine. That then begins to put irritation and pressure on different nerves throughout the spine, and wherever these nerves go, there can be resulting accidents, injuries, and symptoms going on.
So, this is amazing. So, well, I know you're not saying this, but most chiropractors really focus on the lower part of the spine. Are you saying that they're not dealing with the root cause?
They are dealing with problems in different areas. So, for example, if a person has pain in their lower back, many chiropractors would adjust for the lower back to adjust problems in the lower back. If a person is having problems in their neck, they may adjust the bones in the neck to relieve pressure from the nerves in the neck. We're just taking it a step further. We're going a little bit more specific to address the entire area from one point.
And that takes care of lower back pain, for instance, if the person may have them?
Absolutely. Because if the cause of the lower back pain is because the bones in the lower back are misaligned, putting pressure on the nerves, but the bones in the lower back are misaligned because the pelvis is misaligned. The pelvis is misaligned because the top bone is misaligned. You correct the top bone, the pelvis realigns, the lower back bones realign.
So you don't need to touch any other part once you've dealt with the top part.
In many cases you don't. And the reason for this is that from the lower spine all the way up to the mid bones in the neck, all the bones are designed pretty much the same. They actually interlock with each other, so they all move together. But from the top, they're designed differently. There is no locking mechanisms in the back. It's held together solely by muscles and ligaments. So when there's accidents and injuries to the spine, whether it's an automobile accident, a sporting accident, the body gets jarred, this is a weak link in the spine. We have much more range of motion in our head and neck than the rest of the spine, but we also have less stability. So because there's less stability here, when an accident occurs to the spine in a global position, it'll jar loose this top bone. And it'll start a cascade of events going on and on and on and on. And many people miss this because nobody gets through life, virtually nobody gets through life without having their own share of bumps and bruises, falls off bikes, falls off trampolines, falls out of trees, which will start the process.
Interesting, but now you've brought up an interesting point. I mean, since there isn't that much stability in the upper neck, once you adjust it, I mean, what's there to say it won't go out of adjustment as soon as the person walks out of the office?
Because the nervous system controls the muscles. So when you realign it and it restores proper nerve flow, now you have proper muscular function, proper muscular contraction. You should have a normal range of motion, but it's when it's locked out of its normal range of motion that nerve flow is not getting through. So when you realign it, the muscles and ligaments that are holding it together begin to work properly. They begin to become more stable, not less stable.
So the muscles will hold it in place once the adjustment has been made.
Correct. It'll hold in place as long as the body is not subjected to either physical, emotional, or chemical stress overloading the system to make it disalign again.
Perfect. Okay, well, you've ended with some very good points in the stress factors in the spine, and in our next video we're going to go back and really go into that in some detail, because I'm amazed. I mean, how can emotional stress affect the spine, right? All right. So thank you, Doc. We'll be right back, folks.
Very welcome.